everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am so excited about this new release from Dominique Cosmetics. If you guys haven't heard of Dominique Cosmetics, it is owned by Dominique, who is a wonderful influencer here on YouTube, and I've always thought she was very genuine, very sweet, and I absolutely love her products. I have the Latte palette, I have the Lemonade palette, I have the Berries and Cream palette, I have 3 of her glosses from the Lemonade launch. I don't think I have any of the matte lipsticks. I am super excited about this palette. This is called the Rustic Glam Palette. It's very bohemian, I love this packaging. She puts a lot of work into the overall look of the palette, and this is just absolutely beautiful. You have a little protector here, and this is what the shades look like. This palette retails for $44. You can buy it on the Dominique website, or you can get it at Sephora. I'm going to be creating 2 different looks for you in this video, just so that I can kind of play around with as many shades as I can. And I'm also going to be trying on this palette. So this is her new highlighter palette. This is called Prisma Glow. And you open it up and it has a little protector right in here. And then here you have a cream shade, which I've already stuck my fingers in. You have a cream shade right here, and then 3 different shades of highlighters. This palette retails for $36. This palette isn't yet available at Sephora, but it will be very soon. You can buy this on the Dominique Cosmetics website currently. She also released a brush set that has 5 brushes for $45. Now, I didn't buy the brush set only because I kind of like my brushes, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't really need them. In my experience, her eyeshadows are creamy, very blendable. You do get kickback, so for those of you guys that, are not really excited about kickback, just know that. Her shimmer shades are extremely pigmented. Now, if you guys have not seen my video that I uploaded recently of the whole Jaclyn Cosmetics lipstick fiasco, but in that video I talked about how Dominique Cosmetics handled a launch that they had with some faulty palettes. Here is the original palette. This is what was sent out. I have put old on the back of it just so that I know which one is which. And I reviewed this palette. I didn't have the best experience with this shade and this shade. They got extremely hard panned on me. Like, when I would try, this one was very powdery. It wasn't the same formula as what was in the Latte palette. I discussed that in my video. 2 days after I uploaded my video, they released a statement saying that there were some palettes that had some, inconsistencies with the shimmer shades. And so they said, hey, if you have the Lemonade palette and you have some shimmer shades that are faulty, something about the way that they crushed the pearl pigment, they would send out a replacement palette. Well, they got an overwhelming response, so they just decided to say, hey, if you ordered the Lemonade palette, we are going to be reformulating, remaking them in the lab, and as soon as they're done, we're going to ship out a replacement. You don't need to email us, you don't need to do anything, we will ship it straight out to anybody that ordered this palette. And I would say about a month later, I got the new one. So this is the old one, this is the new one. The way that they handled that whole deal, only being her second product launch, it spoke volumes for me. As a consumer, I from that point realized that Dominique Cosmetics had integrity and they stood behind their products. And from that point forward, I became her fan, not only of her, but her brand. So that's what we are playing with today. I hope you're excited about it. And without further ado, let's jump right into the video. Okay, so let's get started trying out this palette. So this is the cream highlighter shade, and then these 3 are, a shimmer glitter formula. So I'm just gonna go straight in with my finger. Look how pretty that is though. This is the cream highlighter. So I'm just gonna start kind of placing this on my face and just see how it kind of, ooh, it really melts. That blends so easily. I'm getting it up a little bit too high, but see how pretty that is? That's just a very soft, natural highlighter. It's one of those highlighters that you really can't see. It's there, and when the sun or the light hits it, it's there, but you can't see it. So I appreciate that. So I'm just gonna put a little bit here on the tip of my nose. It's a very soft highlighter. I don't feel like it's lifting up my foundation at all. I think it looks really pretty. I'm gonna put Golden Hour on one side and Fire Glow on the other. Fire Glow is kind of more of a rose gold undertone, and then Golden Hour is obviously pretty golden. So I'm gonna put some here on my fan brush and just kind of go over this cream right here. Holy schmoksies. Ooh, that's pretty. Now I will say it is a tad bit on the glittery side. I wouldn't say it's like too much glitter, but it does have a glitter base to it. So, you know, for those of you that maybe are, you know, don't prefer that glitter type of base, you know, you'll have to kind of decide if it's for you or not based on that. But let's go into Fire Glow. This side doesn't have anything cream on it. I like the shades of these, but I'm not so sure that I'm like 100% in love with the glitter formula on this. It's just, it might be a tad bit too glittery for me personally. I'm gonna put Fire Glow right here. I think Pink Haze might be a little bit too pink for me personally. Packaging on this is really pretty though. It says Prisma Glow on it. And this opens up really nice. I think she did a great job on the packaging. The packaging is really nice, and these are nice size pans. All right, so let's get started with the first look. I am going to create two different looks with this palette. Okay, I'm gonna first put Free Spirit all over. I do have my P. Louise eyeshadow base down. That is my favorite eyeshadow base. I'm gonna go into Fringe. So that's the first shade in the palette. And I'm gonna kind of put this in the crease. Like, I don't know how much definition this is gonna give me in the crease. Now there's some kickback on these. So, you know, for those of you out there that don't really like kickback in your eyeshadows, this one definitely has some kickback. I'm gonna next go into Desert Queen. And I didn't want this shade to turn too orange on me, which is the reason why I put Fringe underneath it. Okay, next I'm gonna go into Cactus. Now I'm nervous about that shade because that shade is very hard to create. So I'm gonna go in one more time with Desert Queen. And just to make sure that Desert Queen is still visible, going to go back into Cactus. It's just blending and layering and blending and layering and, you know. I want to go into Wanderlust. That shade, you guys. It is freaking beautiful. I'm going to use my felt tip applicator for this, which is just this one. Now, I like to dampen my felt tip applicators. I have the one from Huda Beauty. This one is from Too Faced. It's an old brush that they didn't sell this. This just came in like a promotional thing for Christmas last year. So, or the year before. So I'm gonna go into the shade Wanderlust. Oh my gosh, that shade's beautiful. Oh, it's so pretty. I can't. Oh my gosh, I can't with that shade. It's stunning. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It is so pretty, you guys. It is so pretty. I'm gonna go into Desert Queen and I'm gonna bring that back to life here in my crease. Now I'm gonna go into Cactus. So I'm gonna take a pencil brush. I'm gonna go into Desert Queen and place that on the lower lash line. I want to take my felt tip applicator and I'm gonna dampen it so I can control the shade. And I'm gonna place the tip of this, like I'm bending it to apply this on the lower lash line. Now I'm gonna go back into the pencil brush. I'm gonna go into the shade Suede and I'm gonna lightly kind of buff that into it. Okay, so this is the final look, and for my lip, I threw on my KKW Beauty Nude Lip Liner in 2.5, and I put on this, which I've been loving this shimmer shade from Natasha Denona. I think it's a metallic shade, actually. It's in the shade Nude. It's so pretty, you guys, and it's a little bit drying, so I will be honest, it's a little bit drying, but lasts for so long. So that's what's on my lips. I think this eye look turned out so beautiful. That's it for this tutorial. Let's jump into tutorial number 2. Okay, so let's get started on look number 2. So normally I plan my eyeshadow look based on what I'm wearing. Well, today I planned what I'm wearing based on the look that I want to create with the palette. So I love this whole like blue moment, and I love that there are like blue and oranges in here. So I want to kind of create something orangish, bluish. I don't know. I'm just gonna have fun. I'm super excited about it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put Free Spirit all over my P. Louise eyeshadow base just to kind of like get everything set down. I'm gonna go into the shade Desert Queen. It builds nicely on itself. It really does. It's really pretty. I'm gonna go into the shade Suede, just kind of giving some definition to that shade. I'm gonna take a pencil brush and I'm gonna go into Desert Queen, and I'm gonna pop that here on this inner corner. I'm kind of like changing my mind as I'm doing this. And then I'm going to go into Suede. I'm going to take a felt tip applicator and I've dampened it with a makeup wipe. I'm going to go into the shade Bohemian. It's gorgeous, like goldy, like bronzy shade. And I'm going to place that right here on my lid. This shade is so pretty. Holy shit skis. Now, some would say, well, isn't it just like any other bronzy shade? Yeah, but look how reflective it is. It's so freaking beautiful. Like when you put it on your finger, it's not chunky, so it's not really messy. Like I'm not really having any issues with any fallout. So I'm gonna go back into Desert Queen, and I'm gonna kind of like use that to kind of melt and blend that shade into the crease, into those other shades. I'm gonna go into a little bit of Suede and like put Suede right here on the edges of this shade. Okay, so for the lower lash line, I'm gonna take a little bit of Desert Queen. I'm gonna go into Dreamcatcher. Now that one is definitely got some kickback. It's right here. See the kickback in that? It's kind of like a matte shade with a little bit of like that sparkle in it. So it's not a full-blown shimmer. It has a matte base to it with some glitter in it. Okay, that shade is kind of messy and I don't like the orange underneath it. So I'm gonna wipe this off. Okay, so now that I got that fixed, I'm gonna go into Dreamcatcher. I wish the shade was not as messy as it is because it's a beautiful blue, but you guys, it's messy. See how much prettier that is on its own without the orange? I kind of wish this was a shimmer shade. I think it would be really pretty if it was a shimmer shade. I'm going to try the Golden Hour from the highlighter palette and put that on my inner corner. And I think I might pop a little bit right here on this lower lash line, like right here in this center. Okay, so this is the final look. As far as the lippy goes, I put on my KKW Beauty Lip Liner Nude 2.5. I've been really loving this shade. It's a new one from her collection. And then I put on this new shade from Bobbi Brown in the Crushed Liquid Lip. So this is in the shade East Coast Stay. Is it East Coast Stay? Slay. East Coast Stay. Slay. Fetch! swatch. I'm so dumb, I can't speak today. Then I grabbed a little bit of this golden shade and kind of popped it right here on the center of my lip. That's kind of my favorite thing to do, like when I'm wanting that shimmery look over top of a gloss. So that's it. Let's go ahead and jump straight into the swatches of the palette, and then I'm going to give you guys my final thoughts on the palette and the highlighter palette. Okay, so here are the swatches of the palette, and I apologize, my swatches are not the best. So this first shade right here is called Fringe. This is Evil Eye, Free Spirit, Cactus, Dreamcatcher, Wildflower, Suede, Bohemian, Desert Queen, Wanderlust, Moonchild, and Gypsy. So those are the shades in the palette. This is the shades of the highlighter palette. So this first top shade right here is the Skin Gloss. So that one is the cream formula. I want to show you guys that it gets a little bit moussey, so it's pretty soft. So I just wanted to let you guys know that in case, you know, some of you guys might have an issue with that. But it does have a really soft texture to it. So, you know, just so that you guys are aware of that. This shade right here is Golden Hour. This is Fire Glow, and this is Pink Haze. So those are the 4 shades in the highlighter palette. Okay, so let me give you guys my final thoughts on the highlighter palette. I like the highlighter palette. I do kind of see that there might be some problematic things with this cream shade being really creamy, because it's definitely got a real nice creamy texture to it, but it blends on the face so smooth, so beautifully, and it does kind of give you that wet, glossy look without being able to detect that it's there. So I really appreciate the formula on this, you guys. I really, really like this skin gloss. I think it's really beautiful. The Pink Haze shade I will probably never wear as a highlighter, just because I don't prefer that pink shade as a highlighter on my skin. However, it's not going to go to waste because it's something that I could definitely throw on the eyelid as a shimmer. Golden Hour and Fire Glow are gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. But there are some things that you guys need to know when using this. It does have a very glitter type texture. I'm going to take some close-up pictures just so that you guys can actually see what it looks like on the skin, because I do think it blends beautifully, but it's definitely got that glitter base to it, but it's exceptionally pigmented. So I went in a little bit heavy here on my collarbone, but it's summer, so I can totally get away with it. But I like the highlighter palette. I think it's a beautiful palette. And I feel like it's decent priced for what it is. It's a higher ended brand, so of course, you know, it's sold at Sephora. I feel like you're getting good quality highlighters for the price. So I like the highlighter palette. I do. All right, let's move on to my thoughts on the palette itself. So I really like this palette, and I'm gonna be honest with you, my favorite shade in the entire palette is what I was wearing in the first look, which was the shade Wanderlust. So I uploaded a video yesterday. It was my review of the Dior Backstage Nude palette and the primer. And so many of you guys were asking me what I was wearing on my eyelids. And that shade is so blinding and so beautiful. It's one of the prettiest greenish type of shimmer shades I've seen, and I don't have that shade in my collection. I have some that are like that, but not that impactful. It's so freaking beautiful that it made me fall in love with the palette. Now, I'm not a fan of the shade Cactus, and the reason for that is it's got a little bit more of a blue undertone, and in my opinion, we had enough of the blues to kind of go around. It's not my favorite shade, but I was definitely able to make it work by putting the Desert Queen, the orange, underneath it. So putting the orange underneath that turned that more bluish cast to it to more of an army green, which totally goes with the shade Wanderlust. I just don't like the blue undertone. My two least favorite shades in the palette are Dreamcatcher and Moonchild. And the only reason why Moonchild is not my favorite palette, I'm sorry, my dog is snoring. She's living her best life. The Moonchild, I'm never a fan of having a black shadow with blue glitter in it. So this is a black matte shadow with blue glitter. For me, I don't like having glitter in any of my black matte shades. So that's just me personally. I'm sure there's many of you out there that love having some glitter in your black shadows. So again, that's just based on preference, you guys. The quality, I think it's exceptionally pigmented. She is living her best life. I think it's crazy pigmented for being a black, but it kind of gives like a black blue shift. If it was a shimmer, I can understand it, but when it's a matte black, it's not my favorite. That's just my preference, you guys. So I'll probably never use that shade, probably ever. Dreamcatcher, if it was going to have glitter in it, it should have been a shimmer shadow. I think the Dreamcatcher would have been so beautiful as a shimmer instead of a matte, but that's again my preference. So as far as the quality goes, all of her matte shadows definitely have kickback. So the palette does have kind of a messy side to it, but the shadows themselves blend so beautifully and so easily that like I overlook all of that. The pink and the purple I just don't kind of get over here in the corner. They don't really mesh well. It doesn't really invite me. I don't know what to do with these shadows with the rest of the shadows. You know what I'm saying? For me, the layout of a palette is very important for me. Now, some people don't really need that visual. For me, I do. It's very, very hard for me to open up a palette, and if the shadows are kind of like weird, if they're laid out weird, kind of throws me off. It's very hard for me to be creative. And so I struggle with palettes like that. This one I feel myself struggling with because of these two shades on the end. Like I understand all the other shades in here, but these two on the end don't make sense. However, this purple shade is absolutely unbelievably beautiful. I mean, it is so beautiful. So again, I get the fact that she wanted to add just a little bit of that color to it, and probably majority of the people are not going to be bothered by that. But for me, I'm visual and I need to be able to see it in order to be creative within it. And so those kind of throw me off just a little bit. But overall, I think the palette is beautiful. I like the palette. I'm going to be using the palette. Bottom line, if this is something you guys have been considering buying, I don't think you'll be disappointed because it is a very beautiful palette. So that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys again for all the support that you guys show me. It absolutely means the world to me. And I will see you guys right back here tomorrow. And I love you all so much. Bye.